have always gone abroad, and Kenyans don't need Ruto to go abroad. And I think that is a misnomer to believe that Ruto created opportunities for them to go work abroad. Some of us studied abroad. Ruto never helped us. In fact, it's completely a joke that he says he gave Kenyans brought a job, Kenyans jobs abroad. Then the other thing I wanted to correct there was when he says that Gachagua has stolen only 200 million. It was 7.5 billion shillings on record that was returned to him after that. So the figures are even higher than that. So I'm sure that we need to make these things clear because the magnitude of our problems are higher than that. The third thing I want to bring across is that the government, Ruto also has to go because of misplaced priorities. Look, Kenya shillings, 14.2 billion shillings will be used for printing new currency just to put the signature of some kind of people in treasury, the next year's treasury. We are going to spend 14.2 billion shillings. Yet Mbadi says he has no money to employ the JCC teachers, which should cost 13.4 billion shillings. So the misplaced priorities in this government is amazing, is one of the reasons why we are suffering. And our main problem is economic. So my question is, we should take one issue out of the very many issues and take one that all Kenyans will agree easily and buy in easily and create anger around it. And for me, that problem now is corruption. Even if, when you say corruption, everybody in Kenya is annoyed, including those in government, including those in church and the rest. Can we pick an issue that is very emotive, very emotional, and dig in it properly and whip the emotions until the rage is on the roof? And that will make Kenyans know. Like the finance bill was one rage that was very clear. Just said finance bill. So I guess that should be something like that that will take us forward. But what I'm trying to say is that people who are saying we should give Ruto time should tell us what they are benefiting so that Ruto can stay in office. And I should say we should decide that either you are an oppressor or you are the oppressed. All of us here are oppressed. Any other person saying anything positive about Ruto must be an oppressor because you cannot tell me you are on the fence. I think for me, that's what I wanted to clarify and just encourage comrades that our war is not lost and we need to move to the how because that question is being asked a lot at the moment. We have to start whipping people that we need to educate people. I don't like too much political education, but these are terminologies. We just decided to call it People's Assembly to respect the views of people who are equal. We know there's political education taking place, but we'll call it more political education. We call it more People's Assembly to allow all the voices coming on forward and allow people coming in the platform equally. But I believe we should start talking about the issue of taking the vote because that's what we are being criticized. We created this guy without because we didn't vote, and also we have no voters card, we have no IDs. We should start talking about even some songs saying our weapon still remain, ultimate weapon remains our voters card, our ID cards, because
Prof, thank you for those remarks that you've given. And just to clarify that political education is all the work that we are doing, even in the consciousness, the people's assemblies, putting together the issues that are the political issues and the socioeconomic factors and the integrity of our leaders. And of course, it brings about, it brings all people to the table with a political consciousness because we need that consciousness for us to be able to consolidate our power as the people, the people's power. Thank you very much, Prof, for
Comrade
that.
Seifu, sorry to interrupt, but I would love to just help us guide the conversation because I don't want it to. We should not necessarily drag the space too long. Let's give rounds to the speakers who are still on the panel, who have not yet spoken. We could start with Farah, who's been waiting for a while, and then because we are almost heading out of time, and just organize a disciplined environment around which the space is happening. Thank you, my comrade.
Thank you very much.
Can you hear me?
Omar, kindly, you have 2 minutes.
Yeah, Sefu, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. Niko kwa ngamia, so network is not the best. So I wanted to raise your awareness on what is happening. Like, I want you to mentally step out of the country and look at it from the outside. We have a failing immigration system to the extent whereby we have Burundians and Congolese and Tanzanians as barbers, hawkers, taking away jobs that the less educated people should be occupying. We are exporting our best and the most educated fellows. We were sending them away. We have a failing education system, meaning we are creating a generation of fools. We have a failing healthcare system, meaning unless you have comprehensive health covers, you're one sickness away from poverty. It's not sio kwa bahati, it's by design, because what is next is they're trying to take control of production of food, because once they have production of the food and the education and people are not as educated as the lucky generation we currently have thanks to Kibaki and Uhuru, then they can do whatever they want, because even now we have our identities have an expiry date, so hakutakuwa na tofauti baina yako na yule mkimbizi. That is something you need to be very, very aware of. That is why our IDs are not being produced na mnalazimishwa the ones that have an expiry date. The other thing, this birth is one of eternal vigilance. It doesn't matter whether, yes, this government must go. That's not a negotiable, because you don't negotiate with somebody who wants to lead you at gunpoint. How can we live under a government that had snipers on the roof? There's a guy who was knocking on his mother's door, nifungulie, and he was shot. If he wasn't given enough time to get even into his house, what time does this government need? Honestly, make me understand, because it's not right. Majama, there's some things that are not transactionary, and your motherland should never be one of them, because this is all you have. People have died, and I want all the political people here to be aware that you might have the oranges in the wheelbarrow, but the blood in the soil will never let those oranges bloom. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Comrade Farah Omar Abdi. 13 reasons why Ruto must go. The first one is extrajudicial killings and mass murder of Kenyans. But we also have those of us who have been abducted. Recently, we have seen the abduction of Bob, of Aslam, of Jamil, who, of course, we are calling for them to be produced to us because we do not support and we greatly and highly condemn these abductions and arrests.
My sister, before I forget, there's a petition filed by Kenya and Shakira asking for positions for the youth in the IEBC, both the selection panel and the final commissioners, and a place for the people with disabilities. Kindly, let us not rest our fate in the political class. Tukimbizane na hii kitu, let's ensure we have youthful representation and people we can trust, people we vet and back. Thank you.
Thank you. And this is why it is important, even as we're doing this, for us to now maybe move away from this leaderless movement. Because if you want to take away the political class, then it means that we need to have organization. Because now, after Ruto must go, what happens? The people who are the most organized to take power and to lead this country. So that it is important for us to consolidate this. I have tried to bring in proud communists. I don't know why I'm not seeing you on the list of speakers, but I will call Fees Must Fall. S.C. Karis, kindly take 2 minutes. We don't have much time. I think at 10 p.m. we should be closing. So be as brief as possible for us to have a lot of speakers say something and then closing remarks.
Thank you very much. I just want to highlight what's going on in the education sector. That's my number one reason for why Ruto must go. He has attacked our education system from literally from the day that a child is born in Kenya today to the point where they get to university. There's an attack on every single level. Number one, Linda Mama, we all know, was dropped. So when a child is born, the protections that were there for the mother and the newborn baby are gone today, which means our child mortality rate is going to be high. So if a child survives and gets into primary school, the school feeding program, 4.9 billion, was also dropped. And that happened this year. In the 5th month of the year, the Kenyan Treasury scrapped the 4.9 billion allocation for the school feeding program. That's in primary school. In high school, we know what's happening to the JSS teachers. Again, in high school, the Edu Afia, which was a comprehensive health cover for high school students, that was also scrapped. There is nothing that this administration is not attacking when it comes to education. And then we know what's going on with the university fee hikes. And now today we've heard that the University of Nairobi student leader has been abducted. Every single level of our education system is under attack. And this is why Ruto must go, and we must take this issue very, very seriously, because if he succeeds in dumbing down our populace, he will have a populace that he can control, and he'll have a populace that he can dictate to. So let us fight for the restoration of all these programs in our education system, because an educated populace will ensure that this man goes, and his remnants as well. Because I know he is planning for the future. He's planning for his sons and the friends and his relatives to take over power in another 50, 100 years. Let us also plan for another 50, 100 years of our education of the strengthening of our education sector, because that will ensure that his plans fail. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for speaking to reason number 11 why Ruto must go, which is destroying healthcare and education. Ruto's overtaxation has crippled our healthcare and education systems, driving us into poverty. The cost of living is unbearable. How much more can we take? Ayo, the 6th, kindly take the mic. You have 1 minute so that we can allow others to speak, and then we have our closing remarks and prepare for tomorrow's X space as well. Ayo.
All right, thank you so much, Sefu. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ayo the 6th. I have only one reason why this human being needs to exit office. And one of the major reasons why I think Ruto has to go is because of the extrajudicial killings. We've lost our brothers and sisters on the streets of Nairobi, across the country. In Mombasa, Kisumu, wherever, Eldoret, his hometown, we've seen people die in the name of police brutality. Yet nothing is being done to give justice to the families of these human beings. If you feel like you need to be in a position where we still need to give Ruto time, it's like you're insulting our intelligence and telling us, give him this man more time to keep on killing our brothers and sisters. I'm speaking in pain because I've been in the streets of Nairobi, even with Kasmuel, around Nation Center, whereby live bullets were being showered on Kenyan citizens because they are trying to fight for their rights. And then he comes back on the theme of national cohesion, appoints appointments in government positions that have been undermined by the age-old problems of recycling appointees, patronage, nepotism, and ethnicity. He's appointing his people who will help him stay in power. We are a country of more than 42 tribes, and we need everybody represented in these national seats. So that is my only reason. Under my 1 minute, I feel this human being needs to get out of office and we need to clinch
Thank
those
you,
seats. And just a moment, Sefu. I'm asking all of you, if you're interested in a political seat and you're a young person, please come up. We will support you. We need to drain the system completely, and we need new people in the government to lead us.
Thank you so much, Ayo. And that speaks to our reason number one, where we say 13 reasons why Ruto must go. And number one is extrajudicial killings and the mass murder of Kenyans. The next three speakers I call, kindly take 1 minute so that we can also take our closing remarks from some of the speakers, and then we finish this space. I will call Agal decides to talk, kindly 1 minute, and then Omondi Ochuka, then Freedom Songs, take 1 minute each, then we'll have closing remarks.
Amazing. Thank you, Sefu. So I just want to take us back into the corruption bit. And even as we think about how the government has really been getting into corruption, let's think about also how deep it cuts across we as Kenyans. And, corruption begins from the onset between each and every single community, from even the family level. And when you think about it, how many times have we actually been pioneers of this said corruption? Look at our traffic system. We still allow matatus to carry more than the passengers required. We're not speaking out at that. We need good transport systems, good vehicles, reliable means of transport. But then again, when you think about it, like, we are still pioneers of not really championing growth from the smallest level, which is like where exactly we come from. So I just want us to look deeply also into that. And, sometimes looking within also helps you know exactly what you're fighting for. So
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That is so profound, and speaks on chapter 6 of integrity, where even we should have integrity to kill out the corruption that is going on in our country. Reason number 8 speaks about corruption and looting, corruption in all the sectors that we have. Freedom Songs, 1 minute. Omondi Ochuka, 1 minute.
Thank you, Sefu. I have two things that I would like to comment on. Number one, over the years, if you look at the history of our country, there has been a very deep resentment for people who are free. And one thing that has changed over the years, if you look at between 1990, especially the peak coming with Reject the Finance Bill 2024, was people becoming more powerful, people becoming more driven by their consciousness to change things. I think there were just a few people who were brave enough to say, we are going to change the system, we are going to do this and that. But there was a lot of fear because the system is rooted deeply in brutality. So that has changed. And what we need to do as we look at the political class right now is their own organization into a small community of elitism, a small community of privilege, a small community of entitlement. And they believe that they can actually do away with every other person, every other voice that is resenting all this pilferage, all this corruption. So if we are able to organize ourselves as a community that are awakened, and we are able to spread that education across the country, then we have a possible chance at creating a blooming nation of conscious people, a blooming nation of people who have integrity. And this goes all to the second point. We are understanding that our biggest power as a people is in terms of how we organize ourselves, the wisdom of the crowd. We have seen people from lawyers, we have seen people from auditors, we have seen people who have very different gifts that they can put on the table. And these gifts can actually be organized in terms of what do we need to replace the political class that is very rotten to the core. Because we have to have that conversation at some point. And
Omondi, thank you so much for your remarks. I'll have to cut you short because of time. I think one of our speakers has fallen out. We'll have Mungadi speak.
Comrade Sefu.
And then,
Comrade Sefu, kindly, because I think I would want to just buy a few seconds or a minute for Omondi so that he can land that point in terms of organization, because it speaks to the question of what next. I'm willing to request speakers to shave a minute off of the closing remarks so that he can land, because he was cut midpoint and not towards the end.
All right, comrade, you may proceed. Then we will have Mungadi and then the closing remarks. Comrade Omondi?
Oshuka? Okay, I can't hear you. So
It seems like we've lost Comrade Ochuka. So, Comrade Mungadi, if you can speak for 1 minute on why.
I'll speak to one. Number one, as a Ugandan and a neighbor with you people from Kenya, we have lived under dictatorship for 40 years and you gave us hope. Now, the extrajudicial killing that I'm seeing in Kenya is typical of what is happening in Uganda. And for me, I'm saying Ruto must go because we cannot have another surrogate of Museveni in the neighborhood. You gave us hope. Actually, you are the reason why Ugandans rose up. But when this thing looked as if it collapsed on you, we are so worried because it's now the guy is going to screw us more. So Ruto must go. We cannot have those extrajudicial killings exported from Uganda to Kenya. I'll just sum it like that. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mungadi, and also for your solidarity from all the way from Uganda. I am seeing that we really don't have much time, although I had seen Nonini Mgenge True. Kindly, Comrade Nonini, take 1 minute. I know you're launching a song tomorrow on social justice as we close down.
Yeah, hi everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, just wanted
loud and clear.
okay. I just wanted to commend you guys for the space. This is a good thing you guys always do consistently. Speaking from outside here in the diaspora, tukuja kwa spaces kama hizi, this is how we get conversations and communication of what's happening on ground. Because most of the time we rely on news, we rely on the citizens, the KTNs, and sometimes, they curate information, what they want to serve us. So spaces like this are really, really good. I can add maybe one of my reasons. I think the creative sector and people with talents and entrepreneurs in Kenya really looked, young entrepreneurs really looked down upon, especially if you're a musician or any kind of arts. There's been a categorical sabotage that has been done in the creative sector. And you can see even with the recent appointments, like yani, we're jumping from a frying pan into the fire. Like nothing will ever change in the creative sector. Vijana yani, watu wanaimba, saa yote yani, ukiangalia tu our sector is just in shambles from royalties to everything. So that's my reason. I want to invite you guys tomorrow. Just join our space. We have a surprise for everyone. We're just going to be in solidarity with the whole movement. As a musician, I feel it's important to have social justice. I've always done that in my music. Sometimes you have music that is for happy times, for good times, but sometimes you have music that is connecting with the people. It's about what's happening on ground. So currently what I feel is happening on ground is to stand in solidarity with the young guys who are trying to change Kenya. Thank you so much, and I appreciate you guys for giving me this opportunity.
Thank you very much, Nonini Mgenge True. I request through to KOT Sonko and to Willie or Eba. Tomorrow, we had also scheduled a next space, which is going to happen from 8 p.m. And it is just a follow-up on this. And also, we will be really focusing on the Constitution. And I think so that we consolidate our efforts, it would be good. I don't know if you'd agree for us to join efforts so you can do the launch of the social justice song on the space, and then we can merge it with the conversations that we have. So that we have a much larger audience in this work and consolidate all our efforts. You can reach out for that, and we can agree on how to do it to get all our. I would like to apologize. We could speak, of course, but we thank you very much for joining in. Rastan, CJ, Culture Kenyan Media, Brian Bai, The Real Joe, Baraka, Frederick Karanja, Mr. Rajic, Ogalo, Weston, Hitler, Muguna, Nothing, Steve, Wangu, Amakeri, Jackson, Miriki, D. Tyro, Okeja Brian, Global Walking, Macero, Okumu, one whose name I can't read in Russian, Tweeting Sheikh, Michael Okumu, Timothy Mukaria, Clinton Kenda, Pinu Chudari, David Otunga, Jackson Charo, Salim Omhwai, Daniel Okesh. Not mentioned. We in your requests, and unfortunately, we could not approve all of them for you to speak because our time is limited. But we're requesting for you to join us tomorrow. We will give more time for us to be able to speak, same time from 8 p.m. The space will be hosted by Okia Omtata. And we hope that you join us there on Why Ruto Must Go, on the total shutdown on Katiba Day, the action that we are going to be undertaking on the 27th, 27th of August, which is Katiba Day. And now I'll just also invite my hosts and co-hosts to say something as we wind down.
Thank you very much, Seifu, for holding it down for us. Thank you, dear comrades, for being part of this conversation. Just before I hand it over to Kasmuel so we can wrap it up, I would like to explain a little bit about the National Provisional Coordination Committee of the People's Assemblies, that is NPCCPA. This coalition of organizations is one that was birthed in the streets as we carried the message, Ruto must go. There comes a time when we are called upon to be more than we've ever imagined we can be. Those that came out to defeat the Finance Bill 2024 heeded that call, and indeed they proved that we can surpass our wildest expectations. This battle is not won yet, which is why the following organizations have been organizing. Like just last week, we had people's assemblies happening in Kayole under the Kayole Social Justice. We had the Kibra Social Justice coming together. We have other organizations such as the Githurai, Kasarani, Madare, Mukuru, Dagoreti, Dandora, Kitengela, Kisumu social justice centers that are part of this coalition. We have Kenya Bora Tuitakayo. We have Concerned Citizens Movement. We have Operation Linda Jamii. We have Kisumu Peace and Accountability Center. And we even have a number of political parties, among them the Communist Party of Kenya. We have UGM. We have Ukweli Party. We have National Reconstruction Alliance, NRA, the one that sponsored Okia Omtata to the Senate. Just to name but a few of the organizations that are people-centric that have come together to make sure that the job is done. So we appeal to all patriotic Kenyans to keep supporting the movement. We are just experiencing a lull before the perfect storm that must happen so we can birth the third liberation. Ruto must go is not a mantra. Ruto must go is a reality that we must make happen. We have 3 years to the next general election. And as someone that has participated in a general election, I know it can be daunting, it can be challenging. But the fact that I was there, like many of you have, I know that if you step up, if you rise to the challenge, we can give Kenya the alternative that has missed for so long. So, Kasmuel, I'll hand this over to you so you can remind Kenyans out there that we are doing this again tomorrow. It will be hosted by Senator Okia Omtata. We will have Kasmuel on the panel. We'll have Sani Sefu and a number of other panelists who will be looking into how we will not let Katiba Day just be any other day. Kasmuel, you can wrap this for us now.
Thank you very much, my comrade, and thank you very much for everybody who's joined. We intended to have the space for 2 hours. I'm very, very delighted to report that we've just exceeded the time by over 8 minutes. I'm very sorry to every Kenyan who hoped to speak on the space and did not get a chance. We deeply and terribly regret that, but we continue to say that in your own possible way, keep on injecting in whatever avenue you get. And even if you have spaces, please invite us to those spaces. We'll be willing to contribute and to amplify on those issues. We have a very, very hectic week coming up next week. We have Katiba Day coming up. We have the teachers strike. We have doctors striking. So, and also we remember we are pursuing our identity cards. It's going to be a very busy week, but let us keep the faith up. Do not lose the faith. Do not lose. Keep on saying the things. Keep on doing the things. Thank you very, very much for joining this space. That's it from me for tonight. Remember tomorrow, Nonini, in conjunction with KOT Sonko and Ayo the Sixth and the whole crew, are launching something with Akina Willie Oeba as well. A song that is and a piece that's in relation to pursuit of social justice. We're having a space as well to see why Katiba Day is very important and why we need to treat it with the sanctity it deserves. I hope that the two groups can be in conjunction with each other so that we see how we can consolidate our efforts. And remember, we keep on reminding every patriotic Kenyan with an organization or without to join the People's Coalition so that we have an organized front, because we are organizing to take political power. Thank you very much to my co-hosts, to Comrade Mudori, to Comrade Seifu, and to Comrade Muthiora, and to Comrade Buka, and to all the speakers who've spoken tonight, to Professor Fred, to Comrade Wanjira, to all the patriotic Kenyans who've spent time out of their Saturday evening to listen to us. That will be it for this space. Thank you, and God bless you. Asante.
Kaz, kindly allow me to play a song as we are leaving.
For a woman, there is no SCIA. For a woman, there is no PPP. For a woman, there is no NTV. For a woman, there is no CNN. For a woman, none. If I ask anybody here to tell me what is the equivalent of the PPP when it comes to the woman, we would spend 5 hours here trying to figure out to come with an articulative 3-letter memorable phrases. But for a man, we take it lying down. We never question it. And we regurgitate that nonsense from generation to generation. And we pump the boys from when they are 4 years old. Remember, you are the big brother. When you go to school, protect your sister. You hear? You hear? Your job is to protect your sister. Sit here, Tommy. Sit here, Tommy. But Jude is not told what her role is. So Kinovia is walking around 4 years around protecting the sister in kindergarten. And the sister is living a free life, kissing little boys and doing the mess in the puddle of water and coloring pages and making a mess and giggling and having a flurry, lively, childish life. But the boy was imposed. Hey, remember, Kenovia, your job is to protect your sister. You hear? You are the man. You are the protect. Make sure you know where your sister. Protect your sister. You hear, Kenovia? And he walks around with, okay, what is my responsibility? No, protect, provide, and penetrate. What is my responsibility? Defend the women. What is my responsibility? Provide. What is my responsibility? Bro. And you never take a break. You finish 8th grade, they throw you in high school. You finish high school, from you modern men, they throw you in college. After college, you get a job and hey, Kenodia, you need to bring a woman to practice your 3 Ps. That's what men do. That's what is expected of you. Cannot be. What kind of a man are you if you cannot provide for your woman and your family? And then the multinationals, the corporations line up with products targeting Kenobia with his 3PPP. And then when he goes to penetrate because he loves sex, hey, wait a minute, Kenobia, condomize. Kenobia has never had raw sex for 12 years of his life.